So in this lab, we're going to take a look at how to work with retention policies using gsutil. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create a bucket for this purpose. Call it GCS retention demo. There we go. Now it's been created. And now what I can do is I can try to get the retention policy that's currently on that bucket. The way to do that is using gsutil retention get followed by the bucket URI. And you can see that there is no retention policy. All right, so similarly to previous, let's create a retention policy. Retention set. And now we need to set a time duration here. I'm going to use 300 seconds this time, so 5 minutes. And again, followed by the bucket name. And now we should have a retention policy in place. As you can see, it is 300 seconds, and you can also see that the retention policy is currently in unlocked status. So let's see if we have something here. Oh, we have a README file. That's great. I'm just going to copy that over into our GCS bucket. Marvelous. And then if we just list the contents, we can see that it's there. Okay. So let's remove it. Haha. Access denied. Subject to bucket's retention policy and cannot be deleted or written or archived until 4.5 minutes from now. That makes sense. So how do we clear the retention policy? Well, we use the clear verb on gsutil retention. So now the retention policy has been cleared. That means that we can remove the file as well. Perfect. So let's do the retention policy again. And this time, let's lock the retention policy. And this requires a confirmation from us. So it just gives us a review of the retention policy. It's 300 seconds. And we want to permanently set it for the bucket. It's done. And so now I'm going to copy the file over. And now we're, of course, no longer able to delete the file. It's perfect. But we're also no longer able to clear the retention because it's locked, right? And now this also means that we can't remove the bucket either. I will need to do a -R. I always forget that. Right. Cannot delete the contents of the bucket, and thus cannot remove the bucket either. So, can we change the retention policy? Yes, we can. It's currently at 300 seconds. So if we try to set it smaller to 299, That's not going to be possible. Cannot reduce retention duration of a locked retention policy. However, we can make it larger, right? So just as an example, we can update it to 301 seconds instead. That's okay. So now if we get the retention policy, it's locked and at 301 seconds. So the only thing that remains now is for us to wait it out. So we need to wait for a couple of more minutes, and then we'll try to remove the bucket. Okay, a couple of minutes have passed. So now the retention policy time should have passed for the object. So let's try to delete the bucket again. And there you go. We have deleted the bucket, and thus also the retention policy. Remember, the only way to shorten or remove a retention policy that is locked is to actually remove the bucket. Thanks. See you in your next lab.